I just went on quite the Bittensor adventure. What did I learn? What's next steps? My name is Jeremy, aka School of Crypto, and I'm bringing you another Bittensor video. So I have been busy trying to build a subnet that would be entered into the Bittensor Subnet Ideathon Hackathon competition. And I didn't even think about entering until a friend of mine messaged me on X asking if I was going to participate. This is something that I went over a couple videos ago. And I basically reached out to a developer that I brought into Bittensor to see if he wanted to be the developer on the project. And my idea basically was to decentralize the recruiting process in Bittensor. And I felt like I had some unique experience doing it myself manually, just had it as a one-person job. And I found out that it was such a manual process. It really, a lot of people didn't know about Bittensor, and there are so many developers out there that have very unique skill sets that can absolutely contribute as a miner in the ecosystem. And most of the people that I spoke with while I was recruiting for Bittensor did not know about Bittensor. So if about 95% of those guys didn't know about it, it's probably a pretty high percentage just worldwide in terms of developers knowing about this ecosystem. So I felt that decentralizing the recruiting process and onboarding more miners into Bittensor was like a really good idea, and basically incentivizing people to be recruiters and onboard the recruits to mine on Bittensor. So the partner that I spoke of before, his name was Dyrus, and he was my best recruit. Like he got a bunch of pull requests merged on Bittensor, and he didn't even know about Bittensor, and he basically kind of learned it from scratch, and he was able to pull through and actually make some significant changes in Bittensor subnet code bases, like Affine, for example. And so we put together the materials and we got the results yesterday, and unfortunately we didn't make the cut. It was pretty frustrating news because we put a lot of time into it, but just looking back, I think that we probably went too into the weeds in terms of the tokenomics, alphanomics, even governance. And I feel like the incentive mechanism wasn't as clear as I would have liked it to be. And then also we got some pushback, and not necessarily pushback, but like some constructive criticism on how a lot of people, both subnet owners that we spoke with and actual investors, felt like this was a subnet that was going to be gamed by the miners. And what do I mean by gamed? So basically the miners will mine and extract in any way possible, and if they can take advantage of the incentive mechanism and really not bring value to the subnet, they'll do that. And then that obviously hurts the subnet owner. So basically what somebody mentioned was that he could basically recruit himself and pretend to be somebody else and then just mine like he normally would, and ultimately the subnet wouldn't have brought in a unique new miner from the outside, So he basically said that getting the identity solution for this subnet was like really critical, and that's something that Dyrus and I are actively looking into. And what another subnet owner told me was that's not an easy problem to solve, you know? So we're kind of going back to the drawing board and trying to figure out how we can properly identify, you know, who's recruiting who, and then who the recruit is, and then ultimately get to that, you know, ultimate result of getting new, unique developers on Bittensor to mine. And again, like, in terms of what's going to make Bittensor a top 5 ecosystem, I really truly believe that we need to have more miners. We need to have more people developing on the platform. And right now, it's, you know, kind of in the weeds behind, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. And again, you have other just like Web 2 companies that have a lot of the talent themselves. So, so there's a lot of work to be done. And I applaud the Open Tensor Foundation for doing hackathons and stuff like that, but it just needs to be more spread out in terms of the messaging and in the recruiting aspect. So, you know, I have a lot of hope that we're going to figure out this anti-gaming mechanism and make the incentive mechanism a little bit more clear. And then we're going to just like launch it on testnet at some point, and also just like do some simulations and testing and just kind of like see if those mechanisms work, and we can, you know, properly get real, authentic new people into the ecosystem. So, you know, that's kind of what I've been doing recently. That's kind of the reason why I haven't been posting recently, amongst other things. But I just wanted to keep you guys posted on what I had going on in terms of, you know, my work in Bittensor. And I don't know if I mentioned, but the subnet's called Recruit Tensor. So, so yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that, and gonna try to do some more videos on just ecosystem related things going on, and, you know, just really exciting times. And I know that there's Jason Calacanis, the big investor, you know, just recently had an episode about Bittensor with Mark Jeffrey as a guest, and, you know, he's pumping it, and, you know, there's definitely a lot of big time personalities out there that are really giving Bittensor its due. So I'm looking forward to covering all that, and I appreciate your time as always. And what did you think about my subnet idea? What do you think about my conundrum with the incentive mechanism and the anti-gaming? Let me know down below, and look forward to talking to you guys soon. Take care.